Dear students, in this video we will be looking at another tense, that is past perfect continuous tense. If you are watching our channel for the first time, please do subscribe our channel and enjoy watching all the videos of English grammar and spoken English. After watching the videos, please give your comment in the comment section. Now we are going to see past perfect continuous tense. Before we go to the usage of past perfect continuous tense, let us know the form of the verb or the structure of past perfect continuous tense. Look at this structure. Its a structure or the form of the verb is subject plus had been plus V1 plus ing form plus object. Remember, my dear students, you take any continuous tense, let it be present continuous tense or present perfect continuous tense, past continuous tense or past perfect continuous tense, future continuous tense or future perfect continuous tense. In all continuous tenses, we find V1 plus ing form. Whenever we find a continuous tense, there must be V1 plus ing form. Remember, this is a clue. And before which the helping verbs change. If it is present perfect continuous tense, you find have been or has been. Because it is past perfect continuous tense, we have had been. So had been is used for all subjects. First person singular and plural, second person singular and plural, third person singular and plural, or you take any name of any person, had been is used. Okay, this is about the structure or the form of the verb of past perfect continuous tense. Now coming to usage. What is the usage? When do we use past perfect continuous tense? In what context is it used? Okay, what is the difference between present perfect continuous tense and past perfect continuous tense? Okay, when you make a comparison between one tense and another tense, understanding will be very easy, and at the same time you will never forget the usage of any tense. So try to make a comparison between present perfect continuous tense and past perfect continuous tense with regard to its structure and usage. Look at the usage. Past perfect continuous tense is used to express an action which began at a specific point of time in the past and the same action continued up to a certain point of time in the past. See, the usage seems to be long, but I will explain it in a very detailed manner. Listen to me. In order to make you understand easily, I have drawn this time scale. Okay, look at this time scale. Imagine this is the present time. So now I have written now, that is 2020. This is present time. Okay, when we go back from this point, we come across different points: 2015, 2010, 2005, to 2000, 1995, 1990, like this. So from this point, when we go forward, that is 2025, 2030, 2035. This is a future time, this is a past time, and this is the point where we are. That is a present time, 2020, today, at this point. Okay, imagine an action which began at a specific point of time. I take this point, this is the point where an action began. Imagine in the year 1995 an action began and the same action continued for some years. In the year 2015 that action continued or finished. So the action which was started in the 1995 continued for some years. After some years, at this point in the year 2015, that action came to an end. That action finished. To talk about such action, past perfect continuous tense is used. Look at this. Action began at a specific point of time in the past. This is specific point of time where action was begun. and the same action continued up to a certain point of time in the past. The same action continued up to this point of time. This is a certain point of time. This is a later time. So this point and this point, between these 2 points of time, there is a considerable period of time. The considerable period of time may be in years or months or weeks or days or hours or minutes. So when at a particular point action began and the same action continued up to some specific point of time in the past, then only past perfect continuous tense is used. For example, I started studying my graduation in the year 2000. For example, in the year 2000, I started my graduation, BA graduation. Okay, I studied for 3 years. So action started in the year 2000 and continued up to 2003. So starting point 2000, ending point 2003. So to talk about the continuity of that action for 3 years, I can use past perfect continuous tense. How? I had been studying my graduation from 2000 to 2003. But now this is 2020. This is not 2003. So we talk about starting point is past and ending point is also past. But these 2 points are not the same time. That one is at one point of time, another one is at another point of time. So whenever we talk about the beginning of action at a specific point of time and the ending of that same action at another point of time, then only past perfect continuous tense is used. Okay, remember this is the usage. Here in 1995 an action started. Okay, look at this diagram. Imagine an action started in the year 1995 and the same action continued for some years. In the year 2015 that action finished. So to talk about this action, past perfect continuous tense is used. Past perfect continuous tense is used. For example, when I went to Delhi in 2015. When I went to Delhi in 2015. Imagine I went to Delhi in 2015. This is the point when I went to Delhi. Okay, our relatives had been living there for 20 years. Our relatives had been living there for 20 years. See, in the year 2015, I went to Delhi. So, our relatives started living in Delhi in the year 1995. And by the time I went to Delhi in the year 2015, it was nearly 20 years. 4, 5, 20 years. So, our relatives had been living for 20 years. So, our relatives' action started 20 years ago. When I went to Delhi in the year 2015, their action of living in Delhi completed for 20 years. So, action started at this point, action ended at this point. So, to talk about this span, the period of time in the past perfect continuous tense is used. Look at the second example. When I returned home, my parents had been waiting for me for 3 hours. For example, last night I went home. I returned home at 11 o'clock. I returned home at 11 o'clock. So by the time I returned home, my parents had been waiting for me for 3 hours. So my parents started waiting for me at 8 o'clock, 9, 10, 11, 3 hours they waited. So we can say, when I returned home, my parents had been waiting for me for 3 hours. And another example. When my father came home last night, we had been sleeping for 2 hours. For example, father came at 11 o'clock. Last night, father came at 11 o'clock. Okay, we slept at 9 o'clock. We slept at 9 o'clock. By the time father came, we completed 2 hours of sleeping. So our action of sleeping was started at 9 o'clock and ended at 11 o'clock by the time father came home. So we can say, when my father came home last night, we had been sleeping for 2 hours. Next, fourth example. When the squad entered the examination hall, the students had been writing the exam for an hour. For example, yesterday examination was started at 9 o'clock. So exam started at 9 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, squad came. The flying squad entered the examination hall. So by the time the squad came, entered the examination hall, the students had been writing the examination for an hour. So writing the examination was started 1 hour ago before the squad came. By the time squad came, the action completed for the action continued for 1 hour. So we can say past perfect continuous tense. See, to understand past perfect continuous tense, it should be used along with the simple past tense. Then only it is understood. Observe in these 4 examples, we have used simple past. One action is in simple past, another action is past perfect continuous tense. Why do we use simple past tense? To refer to a specific point of time in the past. By that point, the earlier action, the past perfect continuous tense action finished or came to an end at that point. That is why it is used with simple past tense. Then only the students will be able to understand. Okay, that is why. Okay, in spoken English, simply we can use past perfect continuous tense. For example, my brother had been living in America. You can say had been living in America. That means at a specific point of time, your brother started living in America, and after living for some years, and he stopped living in America. So it just refers to a period of time, some years or some months. That's all. But when past perfect continuous tense is used along with the simple past, what is understood? When an action occurred, another action had come to an end which was started some time ago, and it continued for some period. At that specific point of time, the action came to an end. This is the way how past perfect continuous tense is used. Remember, this is used in along with simple past tense. Okay, this is a specific point of time when an action occurred here, another action came to an end which was started some time ago, and that was finished at a specific point of time in the past. This is all about past perfect continuous tense. Please subscribe our channel English Victor. Thank you.